Today we'll discuss the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP and Solana. My ladies and gentlemen, will we see a Bitcoin price correction next week? Will it drop towards the $40,000 mark? Or should we expect growth across the entire cryptocurrency market? Let's begin by looking at Bitcoin's price. Then we'll discuss altcoins and also cover the remaining crucial economic events that will significantly influence Bitcoin's price both this week and next week, but we'll get to that a little later. Let's take a look at what's happening with Bitcoin's price. We've previously discussed that we are receiving new inflation data and unemployment figures. Inflation data pushed Bitcoin's price higher, and now we're left with just one significant problem: the potential escalation between Iran and the United States. They are scheduled to hold negotiations this coming Tuesday. Following these discussions, likely sometime around Wednesday or Thursday, we can expect some crucial news to begin emerging. It's also very important. Just read the news. Type Trump and Iran into your search engine and it will show you all the important news. So what's important? Trump sent additional ships towards Iran. These ships are expected to arrive around the end of the week, by the end of this week or by the beginning of next week. If negotiations cannot conclude peacefully, a Bitcoin price correction awaits us, and the whole question is where Bitcoin will stop. Will it be here at 45 to 40,000 or will it drop another 20 to 30? This is a possibility in the event of an escalation. Or will we still face a halt right here, specifically around $55,000 to $56,000? Now we will discuss the key resistance zones and what exactly might happen next. You see, why did I emphasize to you that both inflation data and unemployment figures are extremely crucial? This is because the Federal Reserve aims to observe a high level of unemployment. The unemployment rate has fallen. You can see it at the very top. It came out to 4.3% and inflation has also dropped. This is in principle positive, but the unemployment data that dropped, that's negative. Here is how it was. This is relevant now, the relevant screenshot. This is how it was last week. So he said to watch unemployment. Then the rate went down after the inflation figures were published. Now it's the weekend in the United States and Asia, and in some countries markets are closed, so there isn't a great deal of volatility. But it will begin tomorrow or later this evening, depending on where you live. The Fed meeting is a very important event. It will be in March, and before then unemployment data and inflation data will still be released. Most likely they'll lower the interest rate this summer, but it all depends now on Iran and the US. Will they reach an agreement or will the conflict escalate? Should this conflict escalate, it's improbable it will take place on Tuesday or Wednesday, more likely towards the end of the week or the beginning of the following week. I hope it won't, but we shouldn't forget about it. Also, the data from Nvidia is very important. February 25th will be a significant volatile event. We already discussed these support zones. Let's talk about them again. 70,000 and 55. The support zone ends at 55,000, then comes 45 and 40, and then 30 and $20,000. So these blocks that you see, these are all support levels, and there are no support levels between these blocks. As I told you, due to inflation data, the rate rose minimally, but it did rise. But now it's at such a crucial point, that is on the trend line. In case we continue to grow with the Bitcoin price, that is to see, just the resistance lines have shifted slightly. That's 73,700 and 82,000. So these red lines that you see, these are the resistance lines. From these lines, if there's growth this week on Tuesday or Wednesday, there's a chance of another correction. As you can see, the Bitcoin price is currently on the purple line. This is the trend line. Do you see what happened? The rate went up because of inflation, then it dropped just now. Today, tomorrow, it will be decided if we go into a correction just like that without any escalation of conflict between the US and Iran. And right here, support awaits us. That is 60,055. As I told you, it ends here at 55. Either it will continue its growth now heading towards these resistance lines, but even if it reaches them, you will see this on altcoins. There's still a chance of a correction from these lines and a breakout of this purple line. If there's no escalation of the conflict, then that will be excellent. We will potentially form a new trend, that is growth, a drop, growth, another potential drop, and then further growth. Such an option is undoubtedly possible, but don't forget about Iran and the USA. If this were to happen, then we would most likely find ourselves at the very least right here. What's happening with Ethereum's price? As you can see, Ethereum's price is in a similar up and down pattern. Due to inflation data, it went up. Now it's on the trend line, and this will be decided in the coming days. Will it go up or potentially from these red lines, meaning the resistance line? Will it go down or will it break through them? Tirati 253 and 2644. So these are our current resistance lines where a correction is probable. Hold on, I'll show you XNP and Solana too. The image there looks precisely as I've just explained to you. So if Bitcoin now breaks through its crucial purple line and Ethereum fails to maintain its current trend, it will fall at least to 1738. This is without considering a potential conflict between Iran and the US. Tomorrow it will be more or less clear what they have agreed upon if they announce anything in the press. But the likelihood of escalation exists, my ladies and gentlemen, and Ethereum could fall quite significantly. I explained to you in previous videos where there are support lines. These particular figures here, they represent the zones for Bitcoin. That is 55,000, 50, 45, and 40,000. For those individuals who haven't watched the previous video, these are the support zones: 1,480, then 1,252, $1,078, and $886. These are the zones you'll need in case of a correction. And up here we have resistance lines. That is, we'll need them in the coming days if the rate starts to rise after all, and then there's an escalation of the conflict. If there is one at all, this conflict escalation. What's the situation looking like for XRP? Just a moment ago, I was showing you on Ethereum and Bitcoin that these red lines would play their crucial role. As you can clearly see, XRP rose and it halted right at these red lines, then moved downwards from them. These are indeed resistance lines, $1.55 and $1.62. The situation with XRP regarding its current trends and the broader global market is exactly the same as it is for all other altcoins, meaning it goes up and then it comes down. Following the recent inflation data, it saw a rise, but then it subsequently began to fall. And now for Bitcoin, the crucial decision will be made. Will it break its downward trend, that distinct purple line, and also move lower, or will XRP then follow its path? Altogether, right here to this line, $1.11 is currently acting as support. But do not forget about this potential escalation. This is currently the most significant global problem relevant for the entire crypto market. We've discussed these zones. These are XRP's support levels in case Bitcoin goes for a correction towards $55,000 or, for example, towards $40,000. I can quickly repeat them for you: 96 cents, then 80 cents, and 66 cents, and 57 cents. These areas will be essential for us in case of an escalation of conflict between Iran and the US. This is the most significant problem currently facing the crypto market, and that's it. Therefore, in the coming days, it will become clear what exactly will happen with the market. What's the situation looking like for Solana? It's the very same picture as with other altcoins, as you can clearly see. We see growth, then a correction, and then more growth due to inflation. The red lines here represent the resistance levels. You can see where they're located, at $95 and $112. This means that from these levels, if there's any growth right now on either Tuesday or on Wednesday, there's a strong chance of a correction. We could potentially see a new upward trend, but the problem between Iran and the US hasn't been resolved yet, so this trend could quickly come to an end. It's not bad that it's forming, it means there's a chance. But further, the subsequent movements for Solana itself will depend on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin in turn depends on the American market. The American market, however, depends on certain events that could potentially occur if they are unable to reach an agreement. That is, if Iran and the United States cannot come to terms. The support levels are $68, then comes $56. So these specific zones will be crucial for you if Bitcoin were to undergo a significant correction, potentially dropping towards $50,000 or even $45,000. Where exactly are these levels situated? Let's quickly review them again. $57, then we have $47, $40, and finally $34. So Solana would be valued around here if Bitcoin goes to $40,000 or $45,000. Don't forget, there's only one problem left: Iran and the US. The Fed's meeting will be held only in March, at the very end of March. Before that, we'll again see unemployment figures and more inflation data. I wish you a good evening and talk soon.